can see, the skies have opened up, lightning is crashing, so we're going to do a condensed version, but couldn't say anything was condensed when it came to support of our great sponsors, especially General Tire and our friends from Toyota. So without further ado, he's a former Bassmaster Classic champion, former Bassmaster Angler of the Year, former Cup winner, and Invitational winner. Please welcome up, winning his first ever Bass Pro Stage. California, representing General Tire and Berkeley with 54 pounds, 3 ounces, 23 snorkel bats. Big one with 4, 4, 5, Mr. Skeet Reese! Oh, everyone was so emotional about this win that even the skies opened up and rained down upon you. What a day. A lot of confidence in the early part of the morning, but man, that last hour, man, it was a nail biter for everybody.
Really?
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was an absolute, I went from being, I got this, no problem, to like, oh crap, what's going to happen? I'm like, I'm trying to catch everything I can. And Greg just got on a tear, so thank goodness I built up a big lead early, and fortunately it was, like he just said, it was meant to be, and I'm gonna hold that trophy, and that means a lot.
You know, let's talk about it. Sometimes you just have that feeling at the beginning of part of the week, maybe it's practice. Did you have the vibe going through this week that, man, I've got a real shot at this, I'm going to win?
I get, it's interesting you say that, is that I really did have a calm this week. I really felt like I was dialed into what the fish were doing. It didn't matter which end of the river I was in. I felt comfortable fishing for them. And, I've had a lot of success on tidal rivers around the country, and so this isn't the first win for a tidal river for me. And I like the way to fish. Understanding how the tide positions the fish, so it's just kind of growing up in the California Delta, and it's a little bit different here, but there's still it's a tide to tide, no matter where you go. And, I got dialed into a bite pretty quick, and I just ran with it. And, the early part of the week, I was fishing down in the Chick. The tides were perfect down there, especially early in the morning. And then I just started working the tide back up river, so I came all the way back up towards the Appomattox. And, so it was just, as the tide progressed, it changed during the week. Obviously, every 45 minutes a day, it gets a little bit different. And I just didn't like the way the tide was setting up the last 2 days. So I wound up staying further upriver and the mouth of Appomattox. It was one of those things where I wasn't expecting to catch as many as I did this morning. And I put the hammer on them. We got almost 30 pounds that first period. I'm like, so you're saying I got a chance?
Break down the day, the 3 periods. Obviously got off to a great start. A couple guys got off the blocks pretty good. It was like a 3-front running up in the first part of the day. But then second and third, things changed. Some across the field, and then other guys in that third period, they really found them.
Well, that's typical tide fishing. Nick Liberoni, he's like, he's watching what he's done the last few days in the morning. I'm like, man, he's keeping up for me with me. I'm like, stop, Nick, stop. And fortunately, he stopped. But it just, in the afternoon, that second part of that second period, the tide, I think it was in transition. No matter where you were at up and down the river, it just wasn't a great bite. And score tracker was really slow during that time. But that third period, I knew that further down you get towards the Chick, the lower the tide was going to be, the better the fish were going to be positioned, and guys were going to start catching them. And sure enough, it was guys started catching them, and then all of a sudden you guys are like, boop, 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 boop. I was like, oh, wow, yes, hi. Hey, can I tell you something? I just won! Woo!
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Yes, you did. Not only that, you won on your birthday, which I don't know has been done on the Bass Pro Tour. So this is twofold. The question is, what do you celebrate first, the win or the birthday?
I haven't even thought about the birthday. That's just a number, man. This is what I've been fishing for the last 5 years out here, trying to be able to be in a position to hoist one of these Bass Pro Tour trophies, to beat the group of guys that we compete against. I mean, literally, this is the best group of anglers assembled ever in the history of sport. So to beat these guys, that means a lot to me. So just for my own personal ego check, now I'm like, I don't care what I do the rest of my life. If I'm gonna retire, I'll retire and I'll be okay. But I'm not gonna retire. Don't worry about that, guys. Just look it over here. Like, no, you're not getting rid of me yet. So, but I want to thank all my sponsors, man. I've been fortunate that I've been doing this a couple years, couple. So I don't know, like 40 years, or tournament fishing almost. Yeah, let's see. 41 years ago, I fished my first bass club tournament, so I guess got a couple years under my belt. But I've had a lot of companies that have been with me a long time, and just to have General Tire, Mercury, Ranger, Rely On, Bass Pro Shops, Cast King. Hey, if you haven't known, I got my own rod company now called Reese Fishing. You go check reesefishing.com, check out my new line of rods. Lowrance, yeah, I was using the mapping on Lowrance, looking just for isolated docks around up and down the river. Doesn't matter if it's up in the Chick, it was on the main river, it's up the Appomattox. It didn't matter. Just looking for those key docks. That, I know I'm forgetting somebody right now. Berkeley, thank you guys for just all your support. I was telling most of my fish wound up coming on the Lucky Craft, and that's probably one of my longest running sponsors. But it's called a BDS1. It's a little small profile crankbait. I can fish it in 6 inches water, and I get down to about 2 foot of water. Fishing on 15-pound trilene fluorocarbon on my 7-foot glass rod. Those fish were just crushing and choking that thing. But the glass rod was the key to landing most of them, because you're just close range target casting, and when you got a 3-pounder just comes out with 6 feet of line and goes boom, and you're like, oh. So you need something really soft and forgiving. And that dive rod, that's what it's called, dive, that put a lot of fish in the boat. So
well, you've waited 5 years. You just turned 55 years today. I think you might have waited long enough.
I might, but also power pole. So that power pole move trolling motor is a beast. I've trashed that thing. I've gone through mud flats and shell beds and destroyed that thing, and it's just getting from point A to point B, all the power in that. It's a beast of a trolling motor. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody right now, but I want to thank Major League Fishing, everybody, all the staff. I want to thank all the fans for sitting out here in the rain with us and having a good time and watching the live episode. So yeah, it's coming into the dock and having a fanfare, and you just need people watching all day long and coming and clapping and cheering. It's pretty cool. So, but I'm ready. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, you've seen it lifted over 40 times. You know what to do. Come over to the center of the stage, and when he hoists it up, let's make some noise for the General Tire Stage 6, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts champion, Mr. Skeet Reese. And not only is he going to get the hardware, he's also going to get a beautiful check. So please welcome to the stage Samantha Wexler, County Executive for General Tire.
That money, baby. That money. Woo! Woo!
One more time, put your hands together for Mr. Skeet Reese.
Woo!
In his first stage win, I'd also like to thank Henrico Parks and Recreation and Region of Tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. You can always find all the highlights, pictures, and so much more at MajorLeagueFishing.com or download the main Major League Fishing app.